Morning, everyone. My name is Robin Brown, and I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up! Today, we're going to be doing our 3D Christmas project class. I do this annually. We already have our Christmas cards done, right? Hopefully. If not, keep on doing those, but join us anyway for a couple fun Christmas projects. See you in a little bit. Turn around. Woohoo! Feel like you're on a Ferris wheel. All righty. So, and maybe by turning the camera downward, it won't pick up anything either. That may be something. Um, your catalogs all came in, and so this month you'll be getting a kit, a catalog, and a little Christmas present.
Today we're going to, and I have several styles of it. Here's the little closed versions. And some of you may have already seen this on a video. And here's the one we're going to do today. Ooh. So, but these, all you do is you pull the bead up on the string, flip it around, and then slide the bead back down, and it closes. Pretty. So, clever. There we go. An idea off of Pinterest, you know. So on this one, these are stamped, and what I was trying to accomplish, which I succeeded here, was to get one image in the middle. But you see how these, if you don't get your thing exactly in the middle, it doesn't come out looking, whoops, yeah, there. It doesn't come out looking, oh my goodness. My camera came out of its little holder. It doesn't come looking centered, and especially on this side, it looks like I have 3 tops and no bottoms. So I wasn't happy with that one. So then I tried this. Actually, this was the first one. This is using the church stamp from the Piece to Use stamp set. And it's okay. It works a little bit, but I didn't like the way the church got all cut up. And like on this side, there's 3 churches and no trees. And then on this side, that's all trees and no churches. I hadn't figured out that I needed to turn over the piece when gluing. Anyway, so that was another one that I didn't quite care for.
And when they're hanging on the trees, people aren't going to be looking at them.
No, but this one came out the way I wanted. This was another one that I did, and I decided to try one with DSP instead of stamping. So this is how it looks with paper. I got a couple of gluey spots in here, so it needs to release. There we go. So that's how it looks with paper. Of course, on the side, you've got the back side of the paper. So whatever is on the back side is going to be on the side of your ornament. And then the last one I tried, I turned the paper over just to see if it would be any less desirable. And pretty much it's just a plain side. I mean, the paper's okay, but I much rather have the poinsettia on the top. So those are the ones that I did. And so what you will get in your kit is 5 pieces of white cardstock that measure 3 by 3 inches. And 2 pieces that measure 1.5 inches square. And then you'll also get your bead, which to me looks like the ball drop from the Waldorf Astoria. And I threaded them on here for you because they were a little difficult. I had to use what they call a snake to get a wire snake. I put a wire through, wrapped the wire around the ribbon, and pulled the ribbon through the bead in order to do that. So anyway, they're all beaded up for you. If you would do that yourself, you should get a bead with a little bit bigger hole, but you don't want to get it too big because you don't want that bead to just not lock on, basically. It's what holds the thing open or closed. So I am using a stamp set called Merry Snowflakes. It's from 2 years ago. I did not have any current stamp sets with snowflakes. I know we have some, though. I was just not wanting to buy another stamp set full of snowflakes. If you have festive flurry, you can use any of the snowflakes from there. If you have, I think the one is called So Many Snowflakes is the one that's available. And then there's one other, something about chic, textured chic or something like that. There's a stamp set that has a snowflake in it that's current. So anyway, excuses aside, that's why I did what I did. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some balmy blue here. And I'm going to take the large snowflake. And if you're using DSP, it doesn't matter really, because you're not going to be stamping. But if you're stamping, you need to stamp on both sides of the paper. So, oh, well, that's lovely. I didn't get it right. It figures. We'll just pretend it is right. Hopefully I'll get the other side right. And then we'll just turn them all over. Feel like I'm at the post office here. Okay, and then I took the smaller stamp and did the corners.
So then on the little squares, I'm going to stamp one with the sentiment Christmas greetings. And that I believe is from Decorated with Happiness. But you know, you could use any greeting on there that you like. And one more of the small snowflakes in the middle of this one. And I'm just going to put some little ones on the bottom side. Probably not necessary. Yeah, do that anyway. Okay. And then I would take a sponge dauber and daub around the edges of these, which I didn't get out, so we'll just flick it across the stamps a little bit. Yeah, you just want a little bit of color on the outside edge.
What blue are you using?
This is balmy blue. It actually looks a little bit more toward the turquoise than the camera is showing, but it is a real pretty blue. Okay, so then the last thing I want to do on there is I do want to take my blender brush. And if you will see in the new catalog that they came out with some smaller blender brushes. So instead of having this monster like this big, now this is not a Stampin' Up! One, but it's the same size as the new ones they came out with. And who wouldn't have known that I should not have bought these and bought Stampin' Up! Ones? But they just came out now. So this is the size of the new one, which is a whole lot more logical to me. So I'm going to blush these little tags with a little bit of blue as well. As if they need any more, but you know, I like blue.
I do too.
It's my favorite.
Me too.
All right, and then I'm going to take this and fold it over so that you can actually see what I'm doing, because with all that color on the page, you might not be able to. All right, so with the stamping, it doesn't matter which side you put up or down. If you were using your DSP and wanted to do the fold, the decoration that you have on top is what's going to be in the center of that star. So you would begin your folds by folding this so that the pattern comes to the top. Okay. But on these, it doesn't matter because they're the same on both sides. So all you have to do is fold it in half one way. Around here, the bone folder. Yeah. And then the other way. Don't turn, make sure you don't turn it over when you make the second fold. All right, so then you're going to have this cross shape in your paper. So pretend it's a tent and just go straight down onto your paper with it. And push it down in the middle. And then you're going to fold it this way. And this fold needs to be this way because the score lines actually help you pop this figure into place. So the half folds are in one direction and the diagonal fold is in another direction. Do you understand that? Okay. So then what you do is you just take this piece in your hand and you kind of open it up a little and put your thumb or your finger down here in the middle of the bottom and just give it a little push. Whoop, popped right out of my hand, but it pops. I got to show you how it pops into shape. Did you see it pop?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so then you just squeeze it shut. And you do that 5 times. So. Okay, tent, push down, fold in a diagonal. Give it a pop the other way, fold it into shape. Last one. What's nice about the snowflake is because it's in the middle and you really, even if it's a little bit off, it still will, I don't know, okay. It still will look like it's completed in the finished product. All right. So now we're going to just take these and burnish these down a little bit on the folds just to make sure they're good and creased. That way they'll spring back easier for you. All right, so you're going to pretend that this is the top of the ornament. The open side of these pieces is the top of the ornament. So when you're looking at this up here by the bead is where the top of the ornament is. If you were to turn that around and glue that bead the other way, it won't open. So that's important to keep track of where the opening to your ornament is. So I'm going to take it and put it with the opening pointing toward me, because then I can put my finger on it and hold it down. And then we're just going to glue these 5 pieces together. Oof, boy, that was a bunch of glue came out of there. Let's see if I can take some of that off, and make sure you put all the open sections of the ornaments in the same direction. So all the open sections of these pieces are going to be down here by my finger on the bottom. I'm going to try not to get carried away with the glue here. You could use some heavy duty double-sided adhesive like the CO Plus, but otherwise I would recommend glue, because this is going to have some stress on it, you know. Yeah, try to get them as even as possible. We're going for the last one here. Okay. Now I found that it was easiest when attaching the ribbon, which is what comes next, to turn this so that the opening is up at the top, so that you know that your bead is going to go in this direction and the tails of your ribbon are going to come down here. This is probably a little long, so I probably would say take about 1 inch off of the bottom, but I needed that much to try to get it threaded through the bead. Now I made like a little point on my ribbon, just like that, not all the way across one direction. I actually made a point. And so I want to take some double-sided adhesive, and now remember your opening is up here at the top this time. Go from top to bottom. And we're going to put the point, we're going to point it toward the bottom. So put the point right in the bottom of the piece. Stretch it across to the top. Now the double-sided adhesive there is just to hold down the ribbon for a fraction of a second while you get the glue on here. Now I'm going to glue, and I'm going to glue the front message on here. The top goes toward the bead now. So the right side up for your sentiment will be pointing toward the bead. That on there and flip it over. Again, we're going to put some double-sided adhesive top to bottom. Put the other end of the ribbon pointing toward the bottom. Try to get that in the center as straight as you can. There. And then some more glue. Lots of glue on this one. And your backside piece. And if you want to put the same sentiment on your backside, or put to and from or something like that on there, you could do that too. All righty. So then you just take it in your hand and you squish it for a few minutes and make sure the glue gets nice and set. And you'll slide your bead up. Put your thumbs between the loop and turn it inside out. There you go. And then you just slide your bead down the string and it holds it open. Okay.
Very clever.
All righty. So that was number 1. Let's see, which one am I going to do for number 2? All righty, there we go. So when you open this up, I have it glued shut so that it didn't fall apart in storage. At least I thought I did. Maybe this one is not glued shut. This one's not. So anyway, to open this up, you just pull it apart into two pieces. And when you put it together, you gotta over, under, around. It needs to go under. That one's over. And once you get it kind of into the place, the ribbon holds it together. Or you could glue it shut and just leave one of these open or two of these open, and then you can fill your thing that way.
Your nice Hanukkah gift.
Yeah. That's the colors I use. And this DSP is from about 2 years ago, but I had a lot of it left, so that's what I plan to use.
I think I have some.
All right, so this is what the crazy template looks like for the scoring of this thing. And I will have a template in the kit for you because,
Good thing.
yeah, this one's a little tricky. So I'm going to get out my scoring tool here. And this piece measures 5 1/4 by 6. And so you're going to find, first thing you're going to do is find the middle of each side. And the middle of 5 1/4 is 2 5/8. So you'd make a mark up there and a mark on the bottom. You can either flip it around and do it like that. Now on the long side, which is 6, it's easy, but you need to mark 1.5 inches, 3 inches is the center.
4.5.
I'm looking right at it. I can't, it's not clicking. 4.5. And then you do that on both sides. Okay. And then you take out your paper cutter and you're going to cut off these pieces that are marked with the X. So you just line it up in your cutter. And that will leave you with a hexagon that has 3-inch sides all the way around. How she figured that out, I have no clue. This is the Paper Pixie, one of her projects.
Paper Pixie.
Paper Pixie. She's from Chagrin Falls, Ohio.
Ah,
All right. So what I did, we have a couple that were already marked. Remember when we marked them? So that the two sides, the centers of each of these 3-inch pieces need to be marked. And I don't know why we have an echo. That is bothering you. Do you hear the echo at all?
Little bit.
Hopefully it's not coming through the what I did is I took my scoreboard and I made a black mark down here just so it's easier for me to line it up. You could use a ruler to do the same thing, but I want to find the center of each of these sides, and they're 3 inches, so the center is going to be 1.5 inches in. So you have to put it someplace where you can still reach it. Mark a 1/2 inch. This one was already marked at the beginning, but I'll mark it again. 1.5 inches from each corner. makes the center of those. All right. I have them all marked. All right, so the next trick is we're going to make this score. Well, we're going to make the other scores first. I'm sorry. Take your center, line it up on the line, and mark the corresponding center to this piece that's not like skip one side and go down here. And so then we're going to score along this line, and then we'll rotate it one. And the best way to line these up is put one in the groove, hold it with your finger and rotate the other one up. Okay, so we're scoring center to center of each side. So you got 6 sides. So since we're scoring center to center, look, I think we need to do this. I don't remember how many times. Should be 6. Center to center. And I'm cheating because I actually put my template right on the paper. And if you want me to do that, I can do that, but your inside of your box will have inky stuff, you know? Or I can do it in pencil and then you can erase it. All right, so that went all the way around. Nope, I missed one somewhere. 1, 2. Got that one, got that one, got that one. This last one. Okay. All right, then we're going to do this particular here. In order to do that, line your point up here and your point up down at the bottom and find that intersection where the first 2 score lines met. Go from there and go up to the point and do that all the way around. You could do top and bottom, but I find it's easier to do one at a time. So you'll have 6 of these moves. More. Oh, get in the groove there. Okay, so that's all the scoring. Now I have found if you use foiled paper that you kind of run the risk of the paper cracking. So if you don't want to get totally frustrated, you might want to use a different kind of paper. Okay, so we're going to score on the score lines here. And we're going to score toward the inside. Yeah, this is what happened on the first one.
Bring
See
it up into the camera.
It tore here. So I put a piece of tape on it just to get through the demonstration, but I think I'm going to give you a different kind of paper because I don't want this to happen to you guys. All right. Then where this score line goes, you want to sort of take it and encourage it to fold inward.
Mhm.
It's already cracking too. This is where I went wrong with the last project I did on the other video. It just cracked, it fell apart. So yeah. Luckily I have one of these done so I can show you how it works. This is another piece of it done exactly the same way. And when you go to put these together, start with one that goes over, and then the one on the bottom goes under. And then now we're going to switch it around. The one on the bottom goes over and the top one goes under. Kind of got a handful here to keep in your hand. The next one is the top one goes over the top. The next one, the bottom one goes over the top. Next one, the top one goes over the top. And the last one, the bottom one goes over the top. So it will kind of stay that way. But a ribbon helps, or if you feel like gluing it so that it absolutely does not come apart, that's probably a better idea. Now, I thought this ribbon would be cute on here, except I didn't make it big enough for a bow. So just imagine it's a bow. Because I don't think my little fingers are going to be able to get, well, maybe I will. I'll give it a go.
Bring it into the camera.
Yeah. I'm not going to be able to get it tied, so we'll just tie a knot here.
So if you tie a knot and then try to tie a bow, you could.
They're too short for my fingers. Anyway, there you go. Then you see how it maybe comes apart. So if you have anything heavy in there, you'll want to glue these flaps together. And then you can just leave one or two open and get yourself in there like that.
Okay.
Right.
Cute.
And then you'll have to make sure you put them opposite the way they were, so you get it to hold together. I really like the gluing idea, which is what I did to this one here. Somewhere. One of these that I made, I glued and I wrote open in pencil on the side, but could I find that one now?
Well,
Yeah,
that one's-
this is the one that, oh, here's my open right here. I wrote it in pencil. I did write it real light, so I well, you wouldn't be able to see it, but you'd open it like this and then kind of squish it a little bit and put your stuff in. And the glue didn't hold very good on this kind of paper, so I know it's like this foil paper is a problem child, so you probably won't be getting any of that. We'll give you some other Christmas paper of some sort. All righty. Next, project number 3. It's a cute little box with Boughs of Holly designer series paper. But if you thought the box was all we were going to do,
Aha.
you don't know me very well. So untie the box, take the lid off.
And that paper was out of stock every time I've tried to order.
Oh my gosh. Any Christmas paper will work. Use last year's. Here.
Oh, how cute.
And then the lids come off of these. So you can put Hershey's Kisses, Ferrero Rochers, some of those lip balms fit in there, a small size bath bomb, anything you want, but I suggest that you don't mix chocolate and soap. You know, like don't put chocolate in these two and put soap in the middle. You'll have, bleh.
Pandora beads.
Yeah, any kind of little gifty. So yeah. So that one is a little bit labor intensive, but I have scored and cut all these pieces first. So
I've seen that paper before.
yeah, this is one of the ones in this same set, Boughs of Holly. And we put this on the the fold out card. Alrighty, so the bottom base measures 8.5 by 5 1/4. And what you're going to do is cut out these 4 sections. So, you know, if you laid this on here, that's why. Right, so that's how you get that. Just gonna cut these out, and I didn't cut out this one, but I did cut out the others. Figured this one was easy enough that I didn't need to get sidetracked on it. These just get cut straight up. You don't need to wedge these or anything, but I didn't cut it straight, so like that. I believe this one was from a lady called Stamp with Nellie. And her name is Heather. Why her website, her blog is called Stamp with Nellie. I'll have to read up on that one, but her name was Heather Forage, I think her name is. I was kind of surprised that it wasn't Nellie something. All right. So that you've got your bottom. Next thing we're going to do is make the sentiment section for in the inside. And this piece of white measures 4 7/8 by 1 5/8. All right, and then we're going to take the little holly bough from from Decorated with Happiness, and then the same sentiment we used on the snowflake Christmas greetings. And I think I'm going to change up the color scheme a little bit, but I don't think I will. We'll just leave it that. That'd be too confusing for me. We don't want to get me confused. Okay, so in red, we're going to stamp the Christmas greetings. Got my finger in it. Right, smack dab in the center. Okay, and then we're going to get out the evening evergreen and the small holly bough from, or not holly bough, pine bough from Decorated with Happiness. And I'm just going to not get this new piece of paper all gooey. I'm going to stamp off the corners here, just put some around, and you can want to put a couple toward the middle here. Maybe turn it so it goes the other way. And then this corner down here. You could put more or less, whatever you like. And then I'm going to go back to Real Red. That's what I stamped Christmas greeting is in, by the way, was Real Red. And I got the cherry, not cherries, holly berries from House of Holly stamp set. And these are kind of huge. I'll show you here. They're huge berries, but we're going to put them on there anyway because they look cool with the greenery. You can just put them on there pretending that you have berries growing in your pine tree. Somebody just made a nice decoration out of them. That's all. All right. And then that gets glued after we fold and burnish here. Away from the valleys. That gets glued right in the center here. There is just a little bit of clearance. This fits right between the score lines. Okay. Then there are 7 of these pieces. Seven of them. Okay. You're going to put one here and one here. So this is your decoration. Kind of be a little bit mindful. Sometimes the paper has a little bit of direction. This is really kind of, it wouldn't really look bad if it was upside down, but I'm kind of particular about which direction mine go, but I suppose it all depends upon which direction you open the box and which direction you put your sentiment. Okay, so after you have this much, turn it over, and we're going to put one here, and then these longer pieces. Did I tell you how much these measured? No. These are 1.5 inches square, and this one measures 1.5 inches by 4 3/4. So they're going to go here and here. And you'll have 3 of those in your kit. The other one's for the box top. That way, because these are going to fold. So the top of your, if you have directional paper, your top is going to be along the outside edges. So make sure you point your flowers going the right way. You can, you can do this for Easter.
Good.
Put little Easter egg candies in there and a bunny on the inside. Oh, almost lost that one. Last one of these. All right, so that's the box bottom. That's what it'll look like when it's folded up. Okay. Now the top comes from a piece that measures 6 inches by 2 3/4. Now the lady who designed this said that I should make this a 1/16 of an inch bigger. But when I did that, it was real floppy on the box. So I made it like a 32nd of an inch bigger when I cut it. So it's just a smudge past 6 inches, the 32nd of an inch, which is like, a whisper. And so then it's actually like a smudge past 2 3/4. It's just a little, and that should be enough, hopefully. And oh, let's do the top first before we start gluing it together. The top gets a white piece, which is the same size as your inside piece. Inch and 5/8 by 4 7/8.
Move it up into the camera. There we go. Thank you.
I either need to move the camera closer to me or something quit pulling. I pull all the projects toward me. Guess that's the normal thing to do, is to want to work close to you.
Mhm.
So, and then this just sits within the confines of that white. All right, now you'll notice when she trimmed these like in a pinwheel style
Mhm.
instead of doing it, across from each other. Her idea was that gave more stability to the box. I have no clue if that's actually true or not, because I didn't make it the other way. I just did it this way. But we need to fold and burnish all of these sides and tabs. Okay. And then, because she did this pinwheel style, if you get all of these aimed toward each other, you can just go around and put a dab of glue on each one. And that will help you so that you can get your glue in there instead of having to fiddle with the last one, trying to worm your way in there. So get these square. And I use too much glue, as I usually do. So it's going to be all over my fingers. I'll have to wait till that one dries and tie it off. Erase it off of me. This one too. Okay. Little clothespins are those little metal clip with the two prongs on top. Would be good to hold these for a second or two while the glue is setting.
I have some nice little ones I've used for sewing.
Yeah. All right.
Quilter shoes are really
And
cute.
then you can kind of test this, make sure the lid fits on there. I don't know what you would do if it didn't. Ah, of course. Robin, box number, get in there. It's playing fiddle-dee-diddle with me here, not wanting to cooperate. There we go. All right, so my lid is a little bit tough, and you really need to cut, and I see that's what I did. You need to cut the score line completely off when you're cutting these corners. Yeah, this one's still got a score line. So that kind of makes a difference. And I'm sure this will go right on now. After I glue it back in place because it popped open. Okay, so while that's setting, we'll work on the boxes and the box tops. So that's what I was talking about, how she cut that like a pinwheel. First off, she cut in all the way around straight up. The flap that's next to it, you got to cut in half, and there'll be a template for it, of course. And so the tabs all have to get cut in half because they're a little, if you did this, if this is the original tab, it's the same size as this one, so it wouldn't close around the box real well. So you just cut the tab in half because you just need a little bit for what you're going to glue to the next one. So you're going to fold and burnish again. And I am going to make sure I have all the score line cut off on these before I glue. That looks pretty good. And I'll have to burnish this way. Get all of those tabs pointing inward. And then you can start gluing them together. It's going to be a little less juicy with my glue. Point corners nice and square. And this last one, I'm going to glue both of these so that I don't have to try to sneak in there with the glue. So this just folds to the inside and you can line them up. That's bottom. Let's do a top. At this point, the demonstrator would be speeding up the video. So it goes, bloop, 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 bloop. No waiting. Well, maybe I should have gone a little bit more, like a 1/16 of an inch. You may have to do that, and I'll cut your paper a little bit bigger so that it fits. I don't know why I didn't have that trouble with the first one. Anyway, you do that to all 3 boxes and all 3 lids. And then for placement purposes, you're going to glue one over here, and you're going to give like an 1/8 of an inch border like we do on a card. And then you glue another one over here. And then while those 2 are sitting there, you'll take this and just put some glue on the bottom, but kind of set it in the middle. And close this up so that the 2, I'm going to do it this way. Pretend this one isn't on here yet. I'm going to just set it in there loose. And these 2 will be already glued solid. So then you want to pull this up here like this and then push your glue on the bottom so that those get right in the same place. All right. And then you'll have them all glued. And then I have this little dish of goodies that I cut out from the paper. And I put like 2 pieces on each of these corners here. No. So I'll just throw a bunch of those in there and you can glue them however you want, or if you find something else you'd like to glue in there. Just remember that it has to be something flat because the box
Oh,
is
that's
coming
right.
over from the other one. I wanted to put a couple, I had some really cute poinsettia. These. But they actually made the box too bulky. I wanted to put one of each of these in those spots, but that didn't work out. So this is what I did here, kind of like that. And then I took Wink Stella and winked them a little bit. I think you can see the glitter, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I did that. And that's how that works. And I will perfect the measurements on this and make sure that your kits have ones that will work.
Depending on what you have on the top of your name box, you could put one of those poinsettias on the top of that.
Yeah, you could do that. That would work. I would tie this with a green ribbon instead of thread. Ugh. Come on, Robin, get it on there. Isn't the other one just perfect measurements? It worked just right. Why this one is giving me trouble, I don't know. You put the poinsettia with a tag in your ribbon around. My fingers are not working this morning. That's my bad part about mornings. It's getting the arthritis going. There we go.
Very pretty.
Alrighty, so there'll be additional things that I have to do to this particular thing. Make the box bottom of hair smaller. Maybe that would look a little bit better. Okay. Something for me to have to worry about, not you guys. Okay, so our next project is this little purse.
Aw,
Okay, and it's fairly roomy. So you could see my computer mouse would fit in there. Almost. So that's the size of it anyway. What do I have that would fit in there? Nothing at this point. But it's 2 inches by 4 inches or so. And I have 2 Velcro dots up here. When you're making these for yourself, you might want to use one larger one in the center. I didn't have any larger ones, so I put the 2 little ones together. This is just a bow with the same ribbon I've been using. And then this is some layered circles dies. And the Joy to the World is from Itty Bitty Christmas. But you, depending on the size of the medallion you put on yours, you could put any size. I tried to put the medallion up here because I thought it would look cute up on the top, but it doesn't want to fold around that curve as well as it did sitting there. So I put it there. And then yesterday in class, we made another one out of a different paper in red. So today we'll do it in yet a different paper, but it is going to be green. This is from Tammy White. She's a fellow demonstrator. The card base, that would be the piece that runs all the way from the front down to the bottom and up and around the back. Measures 4 inches by 11 inches. So one complete piece of cardstock. And then it is scored at 2.5. Oh, that's a pen. That's not a scoring tool. 2.5, which makes the front of the box, and a 4.5, which makes the bottom. And then this is the back, and it goes around to the front. So the paper that goes on top of that is 3 3/4 by 6. It's going to fit in here, but we need to make this cutesy little scallop thing. And I used the scalloped contour dies. My camera up. Okay, good. Paper fell on the floor. My big shot in here. Okay, so this is the die from the scalloped contours. Put that up in there a little better. And when you cut this, center it from side to side, but put it into the die cutter with the top even. And then when you cut it, we'll move it back. Okay. So and I like to put this so the scallops end on the same place on the sides. Yeah. And you got to watch because the die is very long and it comes close to hitting. You want to get it the same across the top. And if I can get my hands in here without moving the die, which I did move. I moved the paper. So we're going to take and stick a piece of washi tape on it. Hold it all together. That's not very good. One to hold the paper together, one to hold the die in place, because they never did figure out how to get a magnetic plate that worked and didn't fall apart. Come on here. That's pretty good. Put my hand in there this time and then I won't have to get it out. There we go. Now it's going to be some pressure because you're going through 2 layers of paper, which is not necessarily recommended. Don't try this with 2 pieces of cardstock. They're very stiff there, but it does make it through. That's all we have to do with the Big Shot. Take that back off, and you'll notice that on the green piece, there's these two little extra horns sticking out. So I did get it centered pretty good, but I'm going to cut these horns off. Because, you know, Christmas, we don't need any horns, we need halos, right? And that does not show up on the green piece at all. So what we're going to do is put some glue up there in the scallops, because you're going to be using that portion of the thing to open and close your little purse. So you want to make sure it's glued down well. And then just center this piece top and bottom, side to side, like so. And then I'm going to take my bone folder and actually push it down nice and flat, as my pieces go all wonky on the floor. That did push a lot of glue on. Boy, I must really be heavy-handed with the glue. So when we get that all done, I'll take the
I like the clear combo.
Does it erase?
I've never had any problem with it.
The only reason that I
guess I didn't realize that that's why you use the white.
Yeah, I use the white because it erases when you get too much on there. The piece for this front is 2 1/4 by 3 3/4. And it's going to fit right here. And you're going to see that this is the bottom of the box here. So you'll want to make sure your pattern or your trees are growing up from the bottom, maybe. I think this pattern is diverse enough to hide anything that you might want to not put upside down or whatnot. Okay, then we're going to need to make the side pieces, and the side pieces are 3 inch by 3 inch, and they are scored only on 3 sides at a 1/2 inch. Half, and you'll notice I use the half that's out here because it's hard to get crossover, and use the half on the other side. Hard to get my hands in there. So on 3 sides, this one up real quick. Tool. All right. I'm going to make the tabs on this with a little notch here. I am actually cutting out the score line completely when I'm making my tabs. Okay. Seem to be missing 2 pieces of paper. Said they fell on the floor, and they did. There we are. Okay. So these 2 pieces measure 1 3/4 by 2 3/8, and they get centered into the section that is scored here. This is for the sides of the box. Like I say, you can change up the paper. This thing would probably look real cute with the foiled paper. Glamorous purse. Pouring and burnishing the 3 sides, and then we have to put them together. I'm going to go light on the glue, Robin. I'm going to get your sides to stand up perpendicular here. So kind of shape it with your hands so that they're perpendicular to the bottom. I think the echo finally quit. That's hard to edit out. It's really hard to see what's happening with that. You have to edit the audio track. Okay. Now before we put the sides on here, we want to give a little curve to the back of this. There's 2 ways you can do this. You can use a bone folder and start kind of like where the back would start to bend. And you just want to break some of the fibers a little bit to break the fibers, not tear the fibers. Get it to curl around a little. Or what I did yesterday is I took a little spray bottle and just used it to bend this around. Actually bent it a little farther than was needed, but if you turn the bottle, it kind of heats it up a little and does the same thing the bone folder does. All right, so now we got that curved a little bit. Could be curved a little bit more, but I think we can work with that. And then you're going to glue your sides on. And it goes right in between the score lines on the bottom of the box here. The edge lined up on the sides. Get it between the score lines. You want to get it between the score lines or the box is not going to want to close real well. Make sure you put your decoration to the outside. Excuse me. Okay. Yep. And then bring the front up and make your front corners. And your back up to make your back. Glue already dried. Wasn't fast enough. Alrighty, try again. This would be another good place for the little clippies.
Yep.
Okay. And then while I'm tying my bow and making my decorations for the front, I just take this and tuck it on the inside and let it sit there a little bit and gain some memory. And we're going to make our little purse handle. I made it 2 layers. You don't have to make it 2 layers, but I wanted to match up the pretty paper. So that's a little bit, this should be 5 3/4. So this is a little long. This is 3/4 of an inch by 6. And then this is 5 3/4 by a 1/2 inch. Yeah. And then we'll just glue that down. And we're going to score the ends of that so they sit flat on the top of the purse. So you're going to score it on the back side because we always want to score or fold away from the belly. And since we want to turn these the opposite way, that's where we'll score them at 3/4 of an inch. And then you'll take your bone folder, get that bend going. Now, if you don't like the height of the handle, if you want it to be a little shorter, you'd maybe take a 1/2 inch out of the measurement here, but you would still glue it in the same place. So it wouldn't come up as high here. It'd be a little bit lower. So just a way you prefer. Also, you can put this on with brads, but in your kit you will have you glue it down and then rhinestones to put on top, which are just like here. And then you take our little guy out of there and you'll find some Velcro dots in your kit. We're going to put the hook part, which is the stiffer piece, on the bottom. So what we're going to mount first is the soft, fluffy ones. And I just put them in between these 2 scallops, about like so. And you want to try to keep your fingers off the adhesive as best as you can. And then you'll take the other part of it and stick it on there, but remove the adhesive from the back. So, like so. Trying not to get your finger in the glue, Robin. And then, okay. And then take aim with your top here and see where you want it to fall. I like it right there. and then put your fingers behind and kind of press those Velcro dots down. Could have gone down a little farther, but it's just a, what do you call that? A choice. All right, and then we'll glue these on. And you want to match up the sides of the paper. Try to get it centered in the top. A lot of gluing in these projects. Another good time for the clips. Look down over the top of it and make sure you try to get it in the center of the top of the. I'm losing my voice here. Okay. All righty. And then some glue dots for the bow. And then you would stamp your medallion. I'm not going to go through all of that again because you all know how to stamp a medallion and put it on the front of the box wherever you'd like, and you'll get a couple rhinestones for on the medallion. And then placement of your bow is up to you as well. I'm going to put it right there like I did on the other ones. And there they all are. And the Stampin' Up! Has some edgelet dies that are different shapes. They have them that are triangular on the scallop. It's like scalloped, but they're triangular shape. And then another one is closer together scallops. Anyway, those are the borders edgelet dies that are current now. All right, and that completes the little purse boxes. Goodbye to everybody else who's watching.